it. No, no, no.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 44 of The Treat Show. Let me know if the sound is okay on everybody's end. It has been 2 weeks since our last episode. My apologies. The holidays, it got a little crazy. But tonight we have a special episode with a good friend of mine, Bill. He's going to be joining us on the show tonight. We're going to be talking about all kinds of things, cannabis and mushrooms. It's very exciting. Let me introduce Bill here, get him on the camera. Oh, there we go. Hello, Bill. You just get right up in that microphone.
All right. Hello.
How's your evening going?
Pretty good.
Bill, I feel like I want to go all the way back when we start really quick to how you first... Okay, first of all, were you born in Colorado?
Indiana.
Indiana.
Yeah.
So this is pretty exciting because Indiana was not, probably still is not, a very grow-friendly space.
No, not at all.
So from my knowledge, Bill, you've been doing this for a long time. So could we start with, like, we don't have to go deep into Indiana or anything that you're not comfortable with talking about, but
Yeah.
could we start on kind of like your background in cannabis and how you really, like, what age you kind of started getting intrigued by it?
Well, I've always, I guess, I've been smoking since I was maybe 13, 14.
Dang.
But I started growing when I was 18, and it was my dad and I. We were like guerrilla style, you know. We were doing patches outdoor. We were looking for places that were like timbered out with briars and putting patches out, like 250 in one spot, another 250 or 500.
No way.
Yeah, we were doing it like that in Indiana, and
Almost like hiding it in like a cornfield kind of thing, like
Yeah.
blended in with another crop.
yeah, like look like after they come into like a timber out, cut all the trees out, all that undergrowth would be briars and stuff.
Yeah.
So I would go into those briar patches and like clear out a spot to grow in, so that like deer hunters and stuff, and like that was a big thing in Indiana. Like in November, they'd get out and start looking for where they were going to hunt and stuff. So we'd put it in the briar patch to kind of keep
The hunters even from not seeing
Yeah, they
it.
wouldn't go in the patches and stuff. Like during harvest time, like when it was ready to harvest, we want to keep them away from it. Yeah, so we kind of hide it.
That's crazy. Like when we talk about like outdoor is an obstacle within itself that we'll dabble in, but I feel like that's even next level to be like, we can't get caught and we
Yeah.
can't have anybody steal our shit.
Yeah, and then water. You got to source that from a creek or a pond nearby.
Did you have to carry like buckets of water, Bill, or did you have like a sump pump, or like how did that?
Yeah, buckets of water. There was one time that my dad had a pump and a car battery, and we hooked like a fire hose to it, and we pumped that up to a patch.
That's the coolest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
That's pretty creative.
Yeah, it was pretty wild, and yeah, that's So I done that for a while, and am I good on this?
Oh yeah, you look fantastic. So on this part you can kind of see yourself, and then on this part in the middle screen you can
Okay.
see the chat.
Sweet.
Yes, we'll go through in the end. But
Yeah, so there was a lot with that, and helicopters and stuff like that. There was a lot of risk involved back in the day.
so how did you even like nutrients and stuff, Bill, when you say that? Like, because I'm assuming there's not like a grow store like Colorado. There's not like a way to grow down the street or...
There was one grow store that was like 45 minutes away, and you couldn't really ask any questions. You had to be like, I'm going to grow some strawberries. I'm interested in light. What kind of nutrients should I?
Yeah.
Yeah, strawberries or tomatoes. And there wasn't anybody to ask, so you just had to kind of figure stuff out. First time I got seeds, I ordered them from a place kind seed, and you had to like send money in the mail and get them that way.
So you'd actually, was it like cash or like,
Yeah.
dang.
Or money order, yeah.
And
And trust that they're gonna send the seeds, yeah.
how long would it take till you like typically got the seeds even?
Sometimes it'd be like 3 weeks, and then there was one time it was like 3 months, and I thought I wasn't gonna get them. I thought I was ripped off,
God.
and then they showed up.
You're like extra happy.
Yeah.
I feel like so your dad, did he grow like, I assume, I don't know, did he grow other crops and stuff? Like, was he a farmer or like into that type of?
No, he was just guerrilla farmer, just grew weed.
That's crazy. So you were around it like your whole life.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time that you actually smoked weed?
No, not really.
I mean, I feel like
I think my dad might have had like a joint, an ashtray, and I like stole it. My brother and I,
yeah.
you know, we snuck off and smoked it or whatever. But yeah.
Do you think that like the strains that you saw back in Indiana, do you think it was like actually like strains, or was it more just like mids, fire?
I think some of the weed back then was probably better than like most of the stuff now. Like, damn. I don't know. It was hard to get strains. It wasn't like clone stuff. You had to pop seeds and pheno hunt, and I didn't really know what pheno hunting was back then. I just pop them, and they were all different. Dang. And I'd be cloning off all of them, thinking that they're all the same, but they weren't. You know. So there's a lot of learning that I just had to figure out as I went.
So even those like first things, these are the things that I love talking about because a lot of people don't touch on it. Is like you're saying, the first round of seeds, like getting a male for the first time. Like, I didn't know what a male was the first time I ever saw one, like, or saw these little characteristics coming out. Did you know, like, when you actually saw the plants, like, oh, is this a hermaphrodite, or oh, is this a male, or did you see any?
Well, like I had a lot of learning to do. My dad was kind of, you know, was there to say, you know, this is what a male looks like.
Dang.
So I had that on my side. I had like his experience from doing it to kind of help me work around a lot of the learning curve, as far as like cloning, how to clone, and popping seeds, germinating. Yeah.
So you're my soil guy. Everybody's gonna love this because we'll get into it in a little bit. But when you were doing outdoor, did you ever get into indoor cultivation in Indiana, or did you kind of just stay?
I had 2,000-watt high pressure sodium lights on a light mover.
Oh, sick.
And I was doing, I would do like an indoor crop during the winter, but around February, March, I had to pop seeds and start getting my seeds ready for the outdoor crop.
Oh, okay.
So I'd want to, if I popped them in like February, March, around that time, I have enough to pop them, find out the male, the females, disregard, get the males out of and then clone the females that I wanted. And that's, yeah.
So you even knew how to do that then, though, like maybe with your dad and things like that, like you're saying, because I've seen a lot of people that you would never even think to take clones, like the first couple times, you know what I mean? Like of a pheno hunt, because you're just like, I feel like that's like the aftermath. Is everybody's like, shit, like I love this one, or I love these. It's always the number you don't keep, or it's always the something that you don't have backed up. And
right.
You know,
that's what happens.
Did you ever run into?
Yeah, you clone them and then you put them out and you're like, oh shit, I don't have any.
Yes, that's exactly.
I gotta go back out in the woods and clone them.
That's exactly. And then you're like re-vegging shit.
Yeah.
But I don't even think, like, do you think, Bill, that like re-vegging even is like, how long into like growing did you really, before you even like knew that you could re-veg a plant or started re-vegging maybe?
I would try to catch it before it got
to that
in the flower.
Smart.
Yeah.
Smart.
If it got in the flower, I feel like it's really hard to bring one back.
It takes so long.
And to like get it back strong, like it was.
You're absolutely right. Like without having.
You might as well just start over with seed.
You're right.
You know. I mean, by the time you would revert one back to a healthy state in order to clone it, you could probably pop seeds and find another pheno.
I completely agree with that. There's like some companies I've worked at where they have too many pheno hunts that they're doing in a year, so they only re-veg their keepers, but they literally only keep like 3 throughout the whole year of all these huge projects because it takes like this 4 to 6 months to get them, like you're saying, to the point of really cloning.
Right. Yeah.
And everybody comes into your grow in the meantime, and they're like, "What the fuck is that?" It's like, oh. Anyways, let's go back to you, Bill. So
Yeah, it was wild in Indiana. There was a lot. I had been doing it for a few years, and I was getting kind of brave, and I thought I could just keep going.
Yeah.
Every year I would tell myself I need to shut down this year, but I didn't. And I was getting the room ready. I was I had some clones that I was gonna get. My dad had them at his house, and I was gonna go pick them up. But I was getting my room ready. I was getting the lights on, making sure the heat and the fans and everything were working properly.
yeah.
And something happened where the cops came, and I had a pile of leaves swept up from the last harvest, and I got busted
From
that.
just the residuals of just cleaning
From
up the room.
There was like a couple leaves that
Damn.
they got me for, and it was like possession of marijuana.
Even with just like a fan leaf or something like
It was
that.
a fan leaf is what it was, yeah. A little fan leaf. There was no bud, it was just one little leaf that I swept up in a pile. And they used that to get a warrant, and they got me or whatever. But I had to fight that. I ended up getting like a misdemeanor. So,
Even then, like, because this was
yeah,
a while ago.
it was a long time ago. But yeah.
I can't believe, like, what were you doing? Honestly, like, that feeling. Like,
Oh, man.
yeah, like,
They don't know about it today.
I don't know about it.
They don't know about it.
I don't know.
They're crazy today. All these people. Oh my goodness. Half of these people would be done.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I feel like people call the cops for breakfast and like dinner in this industry, but I
Yeah.
feel like if you like for reals, there's like young gentlemen back then, and you're still a young gentleman now, but I feel like pretty little, honestly, like coming into this. And I feel like, was it just like when they came to your door like that, were you immediately like, I'm fucked? Or were you like, oh, I think that this is probably just a bad day. Like, maybe they'll go away.
I knew. I was like, fuck.
I feel like
I knew, and I was like, they were like, oh, what are these lights for? I'm like, I'm growing some strawberries.
yeah.
They were like, yeah, right. They're like, what's this? They're testing
From
it
my
and stuff.
strawberries.
I'm like, it's from strawberries. What is that? You know? And they're like, yeah, right. Well, they used that for probable cause, and they got in my house and found like my stash or whatever. But
Did you have to go to jail? Like, did you actually have to go to the jail, or did they more just like write you a ticket, come to court?
no, I went to jail. They took me to jail. Had bond out.
Oh my gosh.
I lost the job I had. It was in the newspaper. I was like doing big things, you know. It made me look like I was a cartel or something, you know.
They're like, guy has 400 pounds.
Yeah, that's what they made me like. And it was like nothing.
He's making 6.5 million a year.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Damn.
And it was horrible. And
God,
like,
that is awful.
so like I got out of it for a while because I was on probation for the misdemeanor or whatever.
Damn.
So I stopped, but like I waited about maybe 3 years or so
pretty
after I got
ballsy.
out of trouble. And I thought, I'm gonna do another outdoor crop, you know? And they put a smart meter on my house.
No way.
Yeah.
Even back then.
They woke me up at like 5 in the morning when I was wiping sleep out my eye, and they're like, you were randomly selected to put this in your area on your meter. It'll kind of tell if there's an outage in your area. And I was like, oh, okay. And then like I looked at it, and it was like a smart meter. And I looked it up online, and it was like, we can tell when your TV's on, when your lights are on.
Like the blow dryer.
So when you have like a 12 on, 12 off cycle, they can see that 12 on,
No.
12 off.
Oh my gosh.
And they come and get you again. So I was scared.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, how much was even a pound back then? Like, really, like that you could really profit.
Like I was growing, and I was getting 4.
That's a
$4,000.
sweet spot.
And people were getting like 64. They were making money still.
Yeah,
Back
that's
in
what
the
I was
day.
thinking. I was like, man, if you're getting like paid good though, you're like, hey, I can
Sometimes
get an
I would
attorney.
get a good harvest, like outdoor.
Yeah.
And the outdoor was so fire. It was like some of the indoor. that's
Oh,
around.
no.
I mean, it was fire. It was nice and dense. It wasn't like that airy.
That fluffy.
Yeah, it wasn't that. It was nice. And people thought I was growing it all indoor.
No way.
And I was getting, sometimes if I got a good crop, I'd be like 36.
I mean, that's solid, especially for outdoor.
I wish
Like,
we were
I'm just
getting
saying,
that
even
now.
back then, yeah, God, do I. I feel like, do you remember like the strains that you were growing then, or do you think that you had like a variety?
I had Island Sweet Skunk.
Damn.
I thought that was great back
Yeah.
in the day.
ISS.
AK-47.
Holy shit, yes.
That was fire.
It was so good. It's still so good. Can't find it.
Skunk One. And then I had this strain called KC-33. And it was like some guy from Switzerland, the grower, I guess is where it came from. And it had buds like big.
It's just like a big forum on the table.
Big buds. my dad and I, we were like, let's put out like 500 plants this year. And we put out 500. Wow. And we went back to check on them, like, because in Indiana, the humidity's high.
Okay.
We want to make sure, like, blight and botrytis and stuff like that. So we wanted to go check, and we were looking for them, and we were like, where are they at? And they were all like, the buds were all like hanging down because they were so big and heavy, yeah. And we were like, holy shit.
Get that U-Haul truck.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah. It was crazy. And we were like, they're not done. We got to come back. And so we waited. And this is it's a horrible story.
Oh, no.
Fucking where we had the patch at, a guy had some like cattle in the area, and he lost a calf, and he got in there, and he found it, and he bush hogged it all down.
He cut down your plants.
All of it.
You technically kept the calf safe. He should have been thanking you. I feel like, what?
Yeah.
That is awful, Bill. That was your
Yeah.
little beautiful babies too?
I was like, my dad and I were like, we're fucking rich. You know, it was so much. There was so much.
He didn't like leave it on the ground or something? Or was it just rotted?
He bush hogged it in like little pieces and stuff.
That's savage.
Yeah.
He knew what he was doing.
Yeah, he was like these, you know, little farmers and stuff are like raising that dope. You know?
Yeah. I feel like,
I'll show these guys.
damn.
Yeah.
That breaks my heart even.
So then I was like, I'm moving.
Wow. Okay, so what year-ish do you think that was?
That I moved out here.
I know what year it was, but I'm not going to say.
2014.
2014, which was huge for Colorado because that was the first year of recreational cannabis. So medical we had for years, but that was even weird compared to like the stories people say, make it seem like, I think. But recreational was when the licenses were definitely getting like strict. The state was getting strict. It seemed like you were seeing a lot of people get popped in 2013 federally and like graded and shit. So 2014, when you came in, did you feel like, first, why did you come to Colorado? I think we know, but
20 lighter. No, I felt safe. I was good.
you just felt like, because it's legal state, you're like, I'm going to go do this where I don't have to stress about all this bullshit. Were you worried about getting a commercial license, or were you just like, I can do it in my house and fuck it?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like
I mean,
I just want an outside perspective, you know?
yeah, I never really thought about getting like a license or anything. I just wanted to grow my own and not have to worry about, you know, when you got helicopters and smart meters and stuff like that, and you're going to jail for a leaf. They're not gonna do that out here.
No.
Yeah.
So do you think that it was like when you first got here, did you how did you get into the weed industry particularly?
Oh, I got a job at Pink House.
So Pink House,
And that's when weed was fire.
that is when weed was fire.
Weed was still fire back then.
And it was called the House of Kush was its little nickname because it was, I mean, there was like 200 plus strains that were fire as fuck.
Oh, geez.
All OGs. So this is like funny to me. I want you to tell this story, but Bill stands out to me tremendously because we got hired at Pink House around the same time, and Nicotine, which we've had on the show before, he worked at the retail store. I thought it was funny. He didn't like know that I worked there, but we worked at Megatron, and it was like one of Pink House's biggest facilities. It was their biggest facility, and they had these fancy Helio Spectras.
200 lights, I think.
200 lights.
Water cooled.
Water cooled. That's what.
They had their own, like, a boiler in the back in the shed, and they would run water. They would run cold water through, and then I guess it would go into the boiler or a chiller.
I think you're right. The chiller.
And it would cool it. Yeah, it would chill it. It was the only
fancy
operation like that I've ever known of. I don't know of anybody that's got water cooled.
I don't think so either.
It sounds crazy, water and electricity.
But it's so brilliant in a lot of ways, especially at that time with like how much like the triple X's were so common back then, and they were putting off. Remember the Phantom ballast and stuff would put off so much heat, but I remember those fixtures were like over $4,000 a pop, and they were like, that's when they were messing with like LEDs before LEDs. It's like, remember how they were like a mixed color spectrum, and you could like dial them in or change it, like. I don't know. It's
the
just,
Helio Spectra?
Yeah.
Purple? Yeah, those like purple LEDs?
Exactly. They were just outrageous to me.
Yeah, those are crazy. That's what he does now, Ryan. That's what he works for Helio Spectra.
No way.
Yeah.
You should come on with Ryan sometime. We should talk about these fucking things.
Ryan, if you see this, we need Jupiter and Mars, the planetariums.
Yeah, so, okay. This is what I'm talking about. Jupiter.
We need Jupiter. Whoever's got Jupiter.
Yeah, we need
Look
the Jupiter. Help us out. The planetary line was huge. And that was my favorite, like, thing about Pink House. That's honestly probably why I wanted to work there, was those strains.
Yeah.
So
All fire.
So incredible. And I remember Bill's first day. Sorry, Bill, but I remember Bill coming in the room. And this is what I'm talking about. In confidence and bliss of a memory. Is Bill comes in and he's like, I'm fucking taking all you bitches' jobs. Like, he can act all sweet right now. He's so innocent. But the thing is he's coming in hot. And it was amazing because they ended up having to shift a lot of employees and let go of majority of the staff.
I was the last grower.
And Bill was the last grower. And so I feel like Pink House, I don't know. You talk about Pink House, Bill. Do you want to talk about Pink House?
I like Pink House. I think the ownership and stuff, but the people there were cool.
Bryce. Do you still talk to Bryce?
Bryce? I have not talked to Bryce in a while, but he's doing pretty good.
Bryce was like the GM there, and he's a great guy. He's like an OG in it. He brought out the papaya to Colorado. I will credit him that.
Is the papaya around still?
I have the papaya. Yes.
Okay.
She's rough sometimes. Like, she's a little sicky. But
Yeah.
I feel like it's the 97 cut that he brought here. But I think it was cool because Pink House had this like really good like connoisseur, like before connoisseur brands and like what all these other states are like, we're gonna crush you guys and you didn't do it like us. We're like, no, we did it.
No, we did it.
We did it.
And recreational weed fucked it up.
Yeah, exactly. I just wish that we could vote against all that
Yeah,
stuff.
let's take back our vote. All these new states that are all excited and shit.
Let it go.
You need to stop.
You need to stop. You just need to vote for Med Wallet. Yeah.
Medical was cool. And that's like I wanted to be involved in that when I came out here. The medical side of it. I really thought that was cool, but I feel like they used it.
What?
It was a lie. It was like I believe that it has medical property, but they used it just to like usher in this recreational thing.
Definitely.
So that corporation
Could just dominate.
Yeah, and it's really messed it up. But yeah.
I think, did you see that change, Bill? Like what you're talking about actually is like, what did you think when you seen like the light shades and like the clinic, honestly, and a lot of those guys at the time like were just expanding everywhere. Is like compared to like a place like Pink House, like I don't know. Do you think that is what ruined?
Wanting to grow, everybody wanting to grow and get like franchises and have all these fancy bags and stuff.
Yes.
And they want to just I think that little small like mom and pop that Pink House culture was cool.
I think it was so cool.
It was like everybody wanted fire weed. Pheno hunts were about finding the fire, and that got voted on by like the grow team and stuff, the growers, and the owners and stuff. Of course, were involved, but like Ryan,
Yeah.
he was good about having control on that kind of thing, and now we've got too many yes men in the industry
Yeah,
that just
definitely.
want to like please the owner, the investor, and it gets them in trouble.
Well,
And it's just taken the joy, I think, of like growing some super fire out of a lot of people.
Well, and I think that like so start when you started at Pink House, that was like a strong name to begin in the legal
Yeah.
market, and then after that is is another great name that Verde.
Verde, yeah.
So, Bill, we got to talk on this because I feel like that company has held a really I've competed against them since I've like started like commercially competing, and they've always placed. They've always done really well. They have this like connoisseur niche thing, kind of like Pink House. All these companies were on the same, I think, place of quality was the number one thing, but. I think that Verde, because it was Verde Natural, is
Yeah.
so
Verde was cool back in the day.
So you started there though. Pink House, like you said, was 200 lights, and then when you went to Verde, what were they?
They were doing um let's see, they had 12 flower rooms with 35 lights.
It's pretty big.
And then they had a 3,000 square foot greenhouse, and they had 3 bedrooms to like fill all those flower rooms.
So did you kind of like work your way? I know that you did this at Pink House. It's like where you work your way from like the bottom to the top, which is honestly like so valuable. Is
Yeah, I started out. I got hired at Verde as the veg manager. I did all the cloning, and I started out just doing that stuff, and I ran the entire veg by myself.
Wow.
For the first year. As Verde was growing, they were still building the rooms out and hanging lights. So
okay.
as they were hanging the lights and they were ready to fill the room, my job was to get the plants ready to go in the room.
Wow.
So Cassandra Maffey, she was the head grower at the time, and she was great. She taught us a lot about living soil and just like how to scale, how to do stuff right, where you were never waiting on like a clone. You always had it. It was ready. There was never like downtime. You were flower every day. We were harvesting. We were planting a room like every Thursday. We were planting. It was pretty cool. And then I just she got a better offer, and she went to do more things, and my buddy Jamie, he took over for a little while, and he did the same. He got a job in Ohio doing a grow, and they gave it to me. So I was running it. It was 25,000 square feet. It's like 14 employees on the grow team.
Yeah, that's a big team.
Yeah, and then they had like trim team and sales team and all that stuff as well. But it was nice, and it was like the Pink House. All the Pink House guys kind of went over to Verde, so we brought a lot of the Pink House cuts. We had a lot of the OGs. So it was all gas back in the day, and now I don't know what it is.
What was that strain? The Wi-Fi or
Wi-Fi OG.
Wi-Fi OG that they were like known like as having a really nice cut of that or having that. I feel like it was limited.
Yeah.
They had a couple other
And
ones.
I think it's gone now. I think they have it.
I lost those strain. We traded them a long time ago, or 14ers, and them in Boulder did a trade for it. And I think 14ers might still have it, but I rarely see it. It's beautiful.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I had it for a long time, and when I went to what's that last grow? Dutch Botanicals.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to talk about that one.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So yeah, at Verde, Wi-Fi was a good one. We had a lot of good ones. We had what else was fire?
What was that one that
hazelnut cream.
Hazelnut cream. That's
the
what it was.
Kimmy Jones.
Oh, the
Kimmy Jones, I think, is gas. It's kind of like earthy. It grows best, in my opinion, if you let it go like 11 weeks. If you let it go all the way, it's just fucking. Same way with the hazelnut. If you let it go just a little bit longer, it's fire.
The Chemi, I didn't even know about until you showed me it. We smoked a blunt one day, and it was like, I just loved the bud structure. Like, the flavor was phenomenal too, like you're saying, but I just loved the bud structure, that they were like those huge, like dense. You could tell that that plant would dump, like, as far as like a yield goes though, and she just seems like a hardy.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, they had so many. When I left there, we were doing a big pheno hunt. We had like 200 different genetics.
Really?
We had the greenhouse full of different seed. My buddy Colton and we were just popping seeds in that greenhouse. We had all kinds of.
You guys had the key
I don't know
lime
what
pie.
happened. Key lime pie.
It was really good.
Yeah, I think Bryce paid like $6,000 for that cut back in like the early 90s, 98 or whatever.
Holy shit.
I heard a story like something like that where
I got that cut. I don't think I was supposed to have it at some point in time, but
there was another one that was in that
group.
Key lime pie, papaya, and
Dang.
I can't think of it.
I can't either. I traded Bryce. I traded Bryce because I remember being like, Bryce, I need that Boo Kush. And I was always on it. And Bryce was always like, I hate that fucking strain. He's like, I don't give a shit what you do with it. So I remember when Tropicana cookies dropped, Bryce was all about it. And that's when we were at Harmony. And I don't know, as I remember, like, Bryce was really cool because he let me do a trade, like, legit, where it was, like, out in the open. There was no shady, like, you know. But I think, like, with some of the Pink House strains and, like, keeping it tight, like, it was just, like, the little fam squad, it seemed like whoever was actually a part of, you know what I mean? I love that about these companies.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I went on, I did some consulting. I went to California, built out a grow there.
Wow. How big
and
was
some shipping containers. We built out shipping containers, put mini splits on them.
No way.
Yeah.
How many lights could you fit in a shipping container?
Let's see. I think we did 20.
Was it double-ended?
Yeah, double-ended.
Like the Phantom one?
Yeah. Or no, we did Lux.
Oh, that's nice. I love the Lux too.
The Lux lights.
20 is quite a few though. Like, I mean, that's a pretty good stat.
In a shipping container. Yeah. We had 4 mini splits.
4.
One on each wall.
Damn. You guys
Yeah.
spent like the same that you would have spent to put in like an AC unit, maybe.
That's what they wanted to do.
I know. Everybody
But-
loved the mini split.
You know, investors never want to listen to. That's another thing. So yeah, after that, I went to Dutch Botanicals and built out that grow, Her Living Soil grow.
Well, real quick, I remember at that last grow too, you brought in a lot of genetics. Like in California, I remember you got a lot of heat. Like you
Yeah,
were
I got
like
'em from you.
sourcing. Yeah, I love that. But I feel
got all
like,
that shit.
But I feel like,
fire.
but you got a lot of shit too from California that was like clone onlys. Like I remember being like, Bill just set up a fire fucking library,
Yeah.
and he did it honestly like in such an inexpensive like, but good. Took care of everybody. I don't know. It's impressive when you like take what you've built though, and then you go share that with somebody else.
Right.
And I wonder if they really like. Do you think that they really saw what you did for them?
In California?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think yeah, when I was there, they really appreciated me being there. They wanted me to stay, but I didn't want to stay. I did a 3-month contract, build it out and go. That was my thing. I'm a single dad, you know, I got my daughter. So I wasn't 3 months was good.
I feel like 3 months would be hard, especially with like family.
I had
like
to travel back and forth, and it was just a lot.
that would be tough.
So I was done, and they had somebody to take it that I trained to do everything.
Do you think that that was like a point in your career where you were like super proud of yourself and like excited to have seriously started from the bottom as like, and I don't mean the bottom, but like when you start as an entry level position and you really work your way through every single position and then grow to a management position and then beyond that.
Yeah, I mean, coming from Indiana, growing in the woods,
Yeah.
to like winning awards and stuff.
Exactly.
And I won the grow off at Verde, and like I got the big check, and I had the belt and all that stuff. It really felt good, and I learned that system through Cassandra, the living soil, and how the soil works, how the microbes and doing the organic grow. I just made it my own and went on to the next place and built it out. And yeah, so that was it. It was a good accomplishment. I felt pretty proud of myself for sure.
Well, I feel like it is incredible, Bill. Is Cassandra? It's funny because she's always been like my competition. She's like one of the very few women I'm saying that like grew in this state at the same time. Like you know, and we've definitely competed a lot against each other. But I feel like I really respect her. And she, I know though, was influenced by a grower, an OG grower. What is the guy that wrote that book? And she follows really closely to God, it's a book we've all read though that's like really important. And it's like an organic. This is gonna drive me crazy. It doesn't matter, but I'll come back to it. I just love that she like was really into like the spiritual part of it too. Like it wasn't just like nutrients, but like the moon and all of well, you know a lot more than me about this, but she seemed like she was like genuinely cared about it. Like it's not that detached. Some of the shit that you see now where everybody's just like move it through. Like chop it up, get it down.
Yeah, I gotta give her credit for sure. She taught me a lot.
I think
I made the system my own. I kind of took what she taught me and kind of implemented my own little thing,
Yeah.
But I don't want to act like, I did this or it was my system in any way. It's definitely like her.
I just think it's really impressive. Honestly, I got to give her props too. She's been in it for a long time and she is like really talented. But so I think that when you learn this system though, and like you said, like making these tweaks and like you had to go through, I know a lot of transitions too with like staff and stuff. Just before we get to Dutch Botanicals, I want to touch on this. Is like you honed in on like this organic, like you said, system and like that you really were trying to implement like the healthiest ways that you could possibly do this for a consumer, for a grower.
Yeah.
Do you think, Bill, that like it took you, I don't know, like 10 plus years to really dial in, like of experience, hands-on, like really dial in this soil blend and like this system and minimum probably?
I mean, I think it's still always learning, how to do better with that.
I love that.
Yeah. I don't know.
I just know that you have a very custom like blend and like it was something that was very unique.
I mean, we did have like in a commercial grow doing organic. There are some bottle nutrients that they were using at Verde. I don't know what they're using now, but like as when I went to Dutch Botanicals, I was trying to get off of the bottle nutrient and just all compost teas.
Yeah.
Doing like the bat guano and different like veg tea and flower tea and just feeding like that and doing foliars and trying to stay away and amending the soil with different amendments, lime and kelp, alfalfa and all that stuff.
Okay, so Dutch Botanicals is I think this is really interesting is Jenny is like we've all had Jenny on our shows and so Jenny is like I've known Jenny now for probably like 6 years.
Does she watch this show?
She probably doesn't watch this show. Okay. Yeah. But you can speak freely. So she's been on the Adam Dunn show and it was really funny is I got her as a guest on the Adam Dunn show and then the time that they did the show was the time that I was leaving the show. So it's just like anyways, it's very Jenny-rific. So when I look back on this time frame is I remember walking through her facility and she like has a really large facility. I can say that. And
it was empty.
It was empty and they didn't even have walls up in a lot of the spaces and like they didn't it was empty. Yeah. And so there's like a weird Fed building like attached to it. Like there's some weird shit. I don't even know what that is till this day, but
like contractors or something with the FBI.
Creepy.
Yeah.
It's the wrong vibe when you're like smoking a blunt, like pulling up in the parking lot. Anyway, so I think that so I walked through and she's like, Jay, what would you, excuse me, what would you suggest, for this like space? And I'm like going through, and it's like honestly like a space that you look at kind of like Rare Dignus is like it's not the same at all, but it has like the same potential. And like depending on a person's budget and depending on all these things, you're like, okay, like are you gonna do a 2-tier system? Are you gonna do a vertical? Like you could do it so many different ways, you know?
Right.
But I think that when you're looking at the size of it, is you're like, okay, we gotta do irrigation. We have to do like all these different things. So I feel like when you came in and you were like, I'm going to do living soil beds, like raised beds in this commercial facility.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
This guy's doing it.
Yeah, I mean, when you're doing a raised bed and you can reuse that soil, you know, a lot like a Pink House, they were going through like $6,000 a month, and soil
Pro mix.
probably more than that maybe
Probably.
with the veg and stuff every round. So like having a raised bed with soil that you can re-amend and reuse for years, you can keep it good. You can keep adding. You could top dress. You could add worms. You could do so much. You could compost teas. All that stuff is going to keep your soil good.
So, Bill, you're really good with beneficial insects too, and like have a lot of experience with that. How do you eradicate, like when you, like, was that something that you ever combated with the soil? Is just pest and disease issues? Like, how do you go about that?
Just like everybody does, but
Yeah.
in an organic grow, definitely want to, you know, the beneficial bugs that you can get. Yeah, they're expensive, but you know, for a commercial grow, and I don't really I don't know, with like a greenhouse where you're a lot of like outdoor stuff coming in.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard. And if you're gonna do sprays with bugs, like, are you gonna kill your bugs that you just bought?
Yeah.
You know, so it's like different stages of growth for different things.
Like if you're like at week 6 and you're like, I can't spray this shit. I can't do anything here, and I've got aphids bumping.
I mean, shoot.
You just cry.
Yeah, you're gonna be crying. I mean, if it's in week 6,
Yeah, I'm just saying that this shit's
get a
happening.
little shot back.
I know.
Get a little shot back and suck those little fuckers off. I mean,
it's true.
some Dawn dish soap, maybe something green cleaner.
Yeah.
You know, some stuff like that.
You're
towards
right.
the end, but yeah, I mean, you want it. The idea is to hit it hard in veg. My opinion, hit it hard in veg, and then when you go into flower, that first 2 weeks maybe hit it hard,
Yeah.
and then after week 4, 5, you shouldn't be doing any kind of sprays. So then you would bring in your beneficial bugs. That's how I did it.
I love that.
And you know, as like the bud, you know, like if you don't have that, in some grows you'll see like spider mites will start forming and have that little
The
webs and stuff
yeah.
up there. If you get on top of it, put those bugs in there, they'll eat those ladybugs. And I forget the name of there's so many different ones.
Well, I remember you even telling me about using the parasitic wasp.
Parasitic wasp.
Yeah, and that you loved them. Look
Those
at how
are
excited
cool.
you get.
Yeah.
Just like
That's what I was trying to think of, and I'm stoned, and I was like,
No, that's
"What is
fantastic.
it? It's the parasitic wasp." Yeah, I think those are fucking badass. They just like, I don't know. All that stuff is pretty cool, but
you never got stung by it?
no, they don't.
They're not like
They don't-
aggressive towards you?
Yeah, they're not going after humans. They're looking for that bug to eat.
But you don't actually like accidentally grab it or something? I'm always like an insect grabber. I will grab anything
It's not
that's
like a
moving.
wasp that's gonna sting you.
Really?
It's not like that. But they call it. I mean, it does have like a little stinger, but I think that's to like get into the bug that it's after, to make it kind of like stop in its tracks, and they can eat on it later, and they can like put their babies inside of it, and then that body becomes the host for the larva or whatever, and then their more parasitic wasp or whatever will come out of that carcass or some shit. Yeah, the dead.
It's like a zombie episode.
Yeah, it's cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So you watch some babies get hatched, I take it?
No, but I think that's
Sounds cool.
under a microscope. I think that's what.
I mean, I'm into it. I feel like, because I think, okay, so then when you're talking about the spider mites with like the webbing, so many people I've noticed like are like, I don't use pesticides or I don't have these problems or I don't, it's like, well, then you haven't been growing long enough or something else is going on because that's not, or you don't know how to identify them, maybe. I don't know. It's like you'll get spider mites, you'll get root aphids, you'll get all of these things at some point in your journey.
You will if you work in the industry.
If you work in the industry, that's a good clarification.
If you work in the industry,
very good specification.
And you were trading and you were in grows, in and out of other grows. Everybody here in Colorado is a grower.
Even the grow store.
So you're going
in the grow store and you're just like, let me go rub across all your stuff.
Yeah, just don't buy it, wipe it down.
Yeah.
Pop seeds.
I love that.
Pop seeds.
I feel like,
and then you're safe.
It's true. There's a lot of like variables now with like HLVD with now seeds. Like they're seeing like a pretty high percentage running in the seeds now. Yeah. Look at your little, what is your thoughts? I saw it in your face.
I'm just so high.
Oh, that's so funny.
We're talking on this.
Okay, let's talk about mushrooms now. Wait, do you want to touch? Sorry. Do you want to talk about Dutch Botanicals?
Oh, I mean, when I was Dutch Botanicals, it was cool. We, like you said, she had an empty building. I built it out. Everybody was like, this is fire, and it was time I went my own way. I started doing during COVID, I was doing the mushroom thing.
Oh.
So like I had time while I was at Dutch Botanicals, I was already doing this.
I think that's pretty.
So then whenever she let me go, I decided this is what I've been doing full time since
then. So you left, I mean, well, you don't leave. That's the thing. It's like, but you're not currently like working actively in a licensed facility or something like that.
Not right now, no. I did start growing for myself.
That's
again.
awesome.
I just hung up my lights today, actually. Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, I have Gorilla Glue, Mac, and Sour Diesel.
Those are like the most like perfect selection and like trifecta.
For my next round, I have Mac, Apple Fritter, and Sour Diesel.
You have to try some stuff. I feel like you got to try this apples and bananas.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just growing a small, like 6 plants is all I'm doing.
But you've got, are you doing those in a living soil?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a living soil bed, and I'm gonna incorporate mushrooms into. I'm gonna incorporate mycelium and my mushroom spawn into like the top, into like a mulch layer.
Oh, okay, like almost like a moss, but over the top. Okay,
like it was straw. I'm gonna let the mycelium grow through the straw, and then put that on as a mulch layer, and try to get the mycelium to where I can grow. I'm not gonna grow like psilocybin, but I would like to grow maybe anything that will pull heavy metal out of the soil.
Incredible.
And that's kind of the thing. Anybody that has living soil that that's working with it and wants to experiment, we can maybe do something. That'd be cool. Yeah,
it would be wonderful. And we're working with Toomey this lab. Maybe you guys could like test the.
Yeah, I would like to see like before what the soil is with the how high the heavy metals are, and then we could put a mulch layer of mycelium over the top, and then we'll test it after they harvest and see if we brought down. And some studies that they've done this already. They brought down the heavy metal percent in like 22 days.
No way.
Yeah.
So something that like was concerning that I think like why you're saying this is like before testing, even at like parts per billion or even parts per million, is like they like heavy metals were a concern for me even back then because I used to grow with like soil only, but like I wouldn't say living as much as like how you're adding and like like different style, honestly. But I was using a lot of compost teas, all this stuff. So anyways, damn it. Hold on.
Stoned.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, wait, you just made me think of it so much. I'm just gonna let it go.
Yeah, the mushrooms in the soil. I think
heavy metals.
The heavy metal, yeah. I don't know, how much the industry could use it, but I think
Health-wise.
craft growers, people that really care about like getting the gas,
Yeah.
the fire, maybe they could start incorporating that into their grow. And the way the industry's kind of going, maybe like the craft grows will be a thing that comes back and gets the price. Like it may be like your Walmart weed.
Yeah.
We'll let them have that fucking mids.
Yep.
And let people who want the gas go to the secret fucking grower, home grower that's doing some cool shit. And maybe they could incorporate like, mycelium. I wouldn't eat the mushrooms or anything like that. When they're growing, I would just throw them away. The idea is just the mycelium mushrooms are so cool and what fungi can do that
Tell me, Bill.
why not we put it together? Cannabis. My two favorite things. Like I just want to put them together a little as an experiment and see what happens.
I think your thing with pulling them out, like when you look at like bat guano and kelp and all these different things that when they become concentrated in a medium, people don't realize is like if you don't have like
Somebody said heavy metal. I loved listening to heavy metal when I was younger. Yeah.
Is I think that like pulling those things out though is like we have such short harvests. That's what people don't realize. It's like that's why I grow differently now for commercial production is because like they can't eat everything you're feeding them as quick as we harvest them sometimes. So it's like if you can't really build this like medium to like process and metabolize all these things before you harvest it, it's not necessarily good for you either.
Right.
So I think that what you're saying by adding the mushrooms though, where you're actually extracting that like, because then if you start concentrating these things like, from these cannabis plants, like it's not good. Heavy metal poisoning, not good.
I don't really know like how much the parts per million is usually, but some people like in California, I know they had a problem with stuff like that.
Very, very high.
And I don't know about out here, but yeah, as far as the mushrooms go, like I've kind of, I feel like I've kind of retired from the cannabis industry. I'm only looking to grow like for myself, my friends, like some gas, and just really get that craft kind of thing going. For myself, my girlfriend, that's it really.
Do you think the industry, this is the only reason I want to touch on this because you have been in it for so long and you really have like worked like for the best companies, honestly, and been a part of like these really great magnificent things and like leadership role and competitions, all these things. So do you think that the cannabis industry, when you moved out from Indiana and you were so excited to work in the industry, do you think that your journey went the way that you anticipated?
No. I mean, when I came out here, I thought I'd be in the cannabis industry forever. I thought I'd retire.
Yeah.
Like I'd get in some kind of high spot or make that like, $300K a year spot to where I could just get out eventually. But it seemed like those 80,000 a year, 90,000 a year, 100K a year, those jobs were around when I got here. And then it was like 2018, 2019. It was the $90,000 job was 40.
Yep. Now it's like 30.
Yeah. So like
sad.
I knew I had to find a way out, and during COVID I was growing mushrooms and I was doing pretty good with that and doing the little chocolate bar thing.
Well, I just think it takes a lot of bravery, Bill. It's like people I see struggling right now in the cannabis industry are just starting to get into it, and I just wanted to touch on that really quick because it's very admirable, and it's not like you're ever leaving. It's a weird thing to say, but like I'm just saying that for the people that are actually going through this or like struggling with like feeling like I don't know, this weird battle, this weird heartbreak, or this weird I don't know. It's like cool. Yeah.
I don't know. It's if you love it, stay in it.
I like that.
Find your way. I feel like in this new you got to think differently. You can't think about, I want to be an owner of a grow or I want to be an owner of a dispensary. You got to think about branding and like different products. How can I sell cannabis if it, like they got all these different products now. I think gummies and
anything.
teas and whatever. I feel like that's like here you can't really do it, but in California they've got where you can kind of, if you're an entrepreneur, you can
Get it.
have a product, buy from somebody, and don't have to have all this licensing and stuff. You can just buy off somebody that does have a license, turn it into your own shit, bag it, and sell it.
Oh,
Like
that
they don't.
sounds so nice.
There's probably other angles with psilocybin and the mushroom movement coming in.
Yeah.
This is one thing that people who are like extraction artists in the cannabis industry, they can start thinking about extracting psilocybin.
Have
Or
you tried it yet, Bill?
extracting? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go all the way over here to the sparkly side of life. How did you do your first? How did you get into this, Bill? Before, like, because you're obviously like expert level now. You've been really honing this in for like years now. Is like, how did you? Yeah. Well, no, that's amazing because you're humble. It's like, do you think? How did you get the balls to like just be like, okay, I'm gonna go do this right now. Like, I'm gonna go set this up.
I mean, it was COVID, and it was like I feel like it brought the hustler out of people. If it was in you, it was in you. If it wasn't, it wasn't. You know.
Yeah.
And I had no choice. Like I said, I'm a single dad. I got a kid. I have to make it. I got a mortgage. You know, I got bills.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna just lay down. You know, cannabis industry don't want to pay me. I'm gonna go get paid somewhere else.
I love that.
And I just had to really had to believe in myself. And I think that's what it, like, believe in yourself and what you want to do, have some love for it, and it'll happen.
Well,
That's like for me, I've been doing this, and I was doing the Dutch Botanical weed thing, but I was knocking on doors. I was going to everybody saying, "You guys want to try these bars? You guys want to try this cannabis? I go to the dispensaries. You guys want to try this?"
that's awesome.
420 weekend when the lines are out. You know, I was going around to all those dispensaries passing out chocolates,
So smart.
and I was just getting I was networking, getting my customer base, getting the people, and they were like, "Hey, that was fire. Can I get another one? Where do I get those?" And that's just it. And then it just took off. It was just like, honestly, I didn't. There was one time where I was like, "Fuck, I don't know if I'm gonna make it."
Yeah.
And then it was like that weekend, boom.
No.
I just sold out. I just couldn't keep up, and I just knew why should I spend all my time and energy and get stressed out for somebody in the cannabis industry, an investor who doesn't appreciate me? I'll put all my fucking time into myself,
Yeah.
and I mean, I've been doing this for 3 years now.
That is a long time though. And like keeping it consistent like that and just like enhancing and refining your product. I think that we should open one of
And
those.
now I'm
bad
plugging
boys.
it on your podcast.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna plug it. So I feel like you gotta hold up one too,
Oh,
Bill,
right here?
because you gotta read you gotta read this awesome packaging. Just because I like how you did the dosing. So a microdose.
Microdose?
Yeah, you understand this better than me.
Okay, this is it's dark chocolate. It's got 4 grams in it, penis envy, and it's 24 squares in the bar. A half square to 1 square is a microdose.
That's a microdose.
Yeah, like you want to break a little square in half because it's fucking strong. One of these will rearrange your whole life.
Really? The
Yeah.
whole bar? Okay, I just want to
Yeah, you
show
don't-
too. It's like, this is what this beautiful bar. It's even like separated though, so people can see.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
okay.
you want to break one of those squares.
I think we
in
should
half.
split one. What if we split a square? Do you think it's too much? It's on a Sunday? Oh, he looks a little nervous. These are good bars. I'll wait. I'll just put it right over here.
I mean, how long do you want to go on here?
We got time.
We got the mic. We taking a break?
We can. We can, definitely.
I mean,
I feel like
and
we're gonna
like,
smoke a blunt. You think about it.
I mean, shoot,
Okay, so these bars.
they're pretty strong. A lot of people like eating 2 squares, and they're having a good time.
Do you think for people that
So
like?
you can get one of these bars and you can share it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you think that those that are struggling, like I've been talking to so many people that are all sad right now lately. Like I'm being real. Like everybody is having such a hard time. Like the economy, like
Yeah.
jobs, transitions, age. I don't know what it all is. Weird.
Yeah, mushrooms are like, it's a big thing right now. It's
It's
helping a lot of
helping.
people. Like, and yeah, I've met a lot of people that have got like into their stories about what's going on in their life with me.
Oh,
And I mean, some of it'll get to you. It's like I don't know. It keeps me going. Really, it keeps me doing it. I think that's a lot of motivation when people are like, "This is helping me," like, or, I'm suffering with this, or I've been dealing with this, and since I've been microdosing, I'm I'm not dealing with this problem anymore. You know,
really?
and that's every. I mean, people. I know somebody that's. I guess they were drinking a lot,
Yeah.
and they started microdosing, and they stopped.
Oh, that's so
They've
good.
not had any. I think it's been like 3 months or something,
Dang.
but they've not had anything, and they were drinking a lot,
That's incredible.
and like, yeah, I think psilocybin is, if doing it in the right way, microdosing. A lot of people are afraid of like that bad experience they had when they were 16 and they ate too much and they tripped out and they freaked out. They don't want anything to do with it.
Right.
But now, like, people are starting to kind of come around a little bit and talk to me like, "Hey, what can I do? I need something. I'm not happy. I need something in my life. What do, you know?" And then I just tell them, like, eat a little bit, see how it goes.
Yeah.
Like, maybe do like a Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. Eat like a half a square and see how you feel, and do that for a couple weeks. And the goal with psilocybin is, you want to do it microdose until you don't have to, until you figure out,
Your
find whatever
process.
inside that you got to deal with. You
Yeah.
deal with it,
Yeah.
and then you're healed from that. And I think that allows you to like get past like your ego and that stuff, that fear. Like, you're like, "I don't want to deal with this."
Yeah.
Well, you'll deal with it, on mushrooms. And
That
it's pretty cool.
I think that's really cool
And
because
with like Prop 122 in Colorado, like,
Yeah.
it's decriminalized possession. It's pretty much legal. Like, to gift, possession, whatever. They don't have any dispensaries or anything like that. It's not.
it's probably gonna go in that direction.
Yeah, they're talking about maybe like having this psilocybin therapy where it's gonna be doctors involved, and I don't really want it to go that way.
Yeah.
But if it keeps like the corporate cannabis fuckers out of it,
Totally.
then make the law to fit it to where it helps the consumer. That person's really getting helped, rather than just greed
Yeah.
running a market and just saturating the market with psilocybin mushrooms, and then everybody's eating crap. Maybe the mushrooms don't have the magic in them because greed has came in
Yeah.
to that industry and kind of fucked it up.
Taking that sparkle even
Yeah,
away.
I mean, yeah, I hope that it doesn't go that way, but it will. I think 2026 they might have where you can go buy it in stores and stuff. But now there's ways you can get it. You can get it from me.
Well, everybody, if you want to get a hold of Bill, we're gonna put his name. It's in here. But I'll put it on the description in the chat space after the show.
Yeah.
And you guys can just slide into Bill's DMs, or you can hit me up and I will get a hold of Bill for you. But I do think it's pretty incredible that I don't know, Bill, it's like you've transitioned, like you said, like to a different type of growing, like to me. Like, you correct me if I'm wrong, but like, so your humidity, like from everything that I've seen with mushrooms, is like you're putting them in like a tub essentially, and really almost like a dome, like a clone dome or something in
Yeah.
theory, like getting their humidity really high. So how does this all work? Do you like go in?
It's a lot different than cannabis. It's like you have to forget everything you know
Fresh.
and just start fresh. It's sterile technique is a big thing. Just being really clean. If you're not clean,
Oh, you can ruin it.
yeah, you'll get like trichoderma and different cobweb mold, and there's all kinds of different spores and fungi that you don't want. And when you have like sterilized grain, you take your grain spawn, which can be like corn or oats or millet, anything like that. You can sterilize that, and then you kill all the contamination that's inside of it. You add your mushroom spores to that.
Oh.
And that's what it grows on. The mycelium will grow on the grain, and then you'll transfer that grain to a substrate, which your substrate can be like a cocoa core or horse manure.
Could you do like a rock wool cube if you wanted to? Or is it too like
Grow
airy?
on a rock well?
Yeah.
I don't know. You could try it.
If you ever feel like
Maybe.
it, Bill.
It would have to be, I don't know. You could try it. This might be a good experiment.
Do you like? Is there like a size though? Like when you see them on the little, like, I don't know, like petri dish or wherever. But like, is there a size that you have to wait until they get to, like how we transplant and how you're like?
Well, when your grain spawn is fully colonized, which means your mycelium's grown over that and it's all white, it's nice, there's no other contamination. You put that's when you know that it's time to go into your substrate. And then the same thing will happen. You'll break your grain up, and each grain becomes an inoculation point for your substrate. So when you mix your substrate and your grain together, your grain will have to colonize that substrate. So the mycelium will grow through the substrate.
Oh wow.
And then once that's all, fully colonized, or it don't have to be fully colonized. Sometimes mushrooms will start penning and start growing whenever they're ready, and you'll see pins, and that's kind of when you know, like, okay.
And a pin is just like a little tiny mushroom.
Little tiny mushroom, yeah. Yeah.
What did you feel like when you got your first pin?
I was happy.
That's amazing. Okay, so
I've had lots of pins.
I want to put the pictures on the screen tonight. We're just gonna have you come back on again, and we'll just have like a special mushroom only episode, and we'll put up all your pictures because.
Okay.
Can we talk about how big your? Let's talk about your fame, Bill. Let's talk about your mushroom fame.
Oh, mushroom fame?
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
if that's mushroom fame, but I mean,
You can put your mushroom on the table right now with.
there was a few mushrooms that were as big as my arm. They were huge.
That's pretty huge.
Yeah, like 2 million views.
2 million views on that
Yeah.
arm alone.
Yeah, 2 million views. I was like, yeah.
Gosh,
I had that like little bit of fame, just for a second.
that's a lot of fame. 2 million times actually.
But like it really helped. Like in my marketing,
I
I was like, yeah. Everybody was like, "You're gonna eat that?" I was like, "Fuck no."
I'm never gonna come back.
I think it was like 100 grams dry.
No.
Yeah. It was like
Even dry.
Dry. It was like 100 grams. Yeah. It was huge. It was. Yeah. It was.
Did you like wrap it up in a blanket? And, like...
No.
I feel like okay.
I chopped it up, put it in the chocolate.
So then these chocolates, is this the only way that you like to eat mushrooms, or like how do you feel about mushrooms yourself? Do you like add it to a tea?
There's a lot of ways. I like the chocolate. I feel like the cacao kind of and the chocolate or the mushrooms and the chocolate together, something about it just hits you different.
Oh, really?
I think for me it does. Like, and it doesn't taste bad. You get that raw mushroom taste is kind of gross, but yeah, I'll do it like that too. I like the lemon tech, like take a shot glass with lemon juice and let your mushrooms, like a gram or two, sit in that for about 15 minutes, and then you can strain the mushrooms out and just drink the lemon juice.
Oh, okay.
And that'll hit you in like 15 minutes.
Is there something with like the acidity level dropping like that?
Yeah, I think the psilocybin is converted to psilocin in the lemon juice, and that will help it not hurt your stomach.
No way.
So that's what hurts your stomach when you eat mushrooms. That conversion is happening from psilocybin to psilocin. That's what makes you trip.
Wow.
Yeah, so in that shot glass, it's the conversion's already happened. So you drink that, you're gonna be tripping in like 15 minutes.
One time I talked to you, and this is when you were talking to me about microdosing, and I remember it was probably the happiest I've ever seen you on a Tuesday, and you were like, Jay, I'm really...
At the show? Where was this?
It wasn't at the recent time.
The seed thing?
It was when you worked at Verde. Or Verde. Sorry, I'm never going to say the name right.
Oh.
Well, I just remember you were having a good day, and you were like, Jay, this is so nice to just microdose.
Yeah.
And like where it wasn't like super intense, but you did say like it was nice to like control and see this like...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, at Verde, when I was microdosing, like, I had like when I had to do like a company meeting or something with all these employees and shit.
It's amazing.
Like, be like all the
grow team.
The grow team and like the different department heads would be there in this manager meeting, and I'd be microdosing, and like they'd be asking me my shit, and I'd hit every I wouldn't miss a note, you know. And then I'd be like, your department needs to do this, and your department needs to do this. I'd tell them what they need to do. I'd be like, it helped me out a lot, you know.
You're like, listen, I can read all your minds right now. Yeah. Like, just stop.
I'd do the owner, you know, and everybody. Like that guy Andrew, he didn't like me. He got rid of me because I just was not a yes man. I was like, no.
That's exactly what you told me one day.
I need to do this way. And I was just microdosing, and I didn't have any fear. I would just say whatever I wanted to say. It was funny.
I think it was probably one of the like best things that happened to you though. Like as far as it was such a good like grow like spot where I feel like you really got to like learn and also share your talents and lead. Like it was such a mutual relationship is what I mean. Like it seemed like when you were good and happy as a squad there. But then it seems like when they had a lot of transitions as ownership and all this other stuff, which happens to like a lot of companies, it's like
that ruins it.
It ruins it. You're just like, forget it. Like just let me do me away from here because this is not the same anymore.
Yeah. The industry, I fucking hate it. You know, whenever they bought these new owners buy these companies, it's like you bought this company because of what it was. Mm. You bought it because they were putting out the fucking heat.
And they would push their flower rooms.
You wanted to be known because this place had the fucking heat. Best place I think when I was there, we were 14th. Like out of 14 grows, we were in that group of the best grows in Colorado.
Definitely.
And that's why they were like, yeah, we're going to buy this place. They got a good rep. As soon as they come in, they want to put all these fucking sliding tables in and all this bullshit and fucking stacking shit, whatever. You know, all that does is creates more problem for your IPM, you know? Like you get all these plants, you got more bugs you got to kill.
Bill, can we please talk about that really fast? Because this is the thing, is like, everybody disagrees with me on this that I talk to you, but honestly, I want to see your perspective because you've been on both sides, like all the ways. So I'm kind of anti the perpetual harvest right now because I'm convinced after watching like a lot of grows, like over 50, is like specifically with this issue, is like when everybody started this perpetual bullshit of like trying to stack their rooms, just like you said. Which one do you want?
Can we take a break?
Oh, yeah. Guys.
Can we take a break?
Yeah, can we take a break? Chat, what if we come back? What if we come back in 10 minutes? Because we're going to go a little bit longer tonight. All right, guys.
Is that cool?
Yeah, it's cool. I feel like we're going to take...
You got that blunt rolled. I was just thinking... Maybe take a little break.
We're going to take a little break for a second. Guys, come back. Come back. I'm going to put the timer on. Come back to the show.
Like 5 minutes?
We could
like-
we could take a 10-minute break. What if we take a 10-minute break? You don't like 10 minutes? You want 5 minutes? What minutes do you want?
If you got people there, I don't want
We got 50 people.
Okay.
We're going to take a 10-minute break.
Okay. We come back and talk about what? The bullshit
Yeah.
in the cannabis industry and
Let's-
how the owners should listen
Yeah.
to their grower.
Yeah. Let's do that. I feel like it always makes everybody feel better.
It kind of raises my blood pressure.
Do you not want it to
No,
be?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, we can do it.
All right, guys, you better come back, okay?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Cool.
I can't say peace and love yet. All right. All right. See you in a minute. I'm going to play the outro for 5 seconds.
Trip, no, no, no.